Hello everybody, it's Brad. Thank you for stopping back by the channel Tripleinc. So today is going to be a fragrance review on a fragrance from the house of Polo. This is Supreme Leather. Now if you've been keeping up with my channel a little bit and if you've watched my top 10 fall fragrances for 2017 video, then you will know that this fragrance did very, very well on that list. I gotta tell you, this was pretty much a love at first sniff for me, and can't wait to get into this review so I can get you guys my thoughts on this fragrance from Polo, which, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the house of Polo. They have, for the most part, mediocre releases. I think this one is something special, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys today. Let's go. So guys, I actually kind of stumbled upon this one by accident. The first time I ever smelled it, I think I was maybe inside a Sephora and I was just testing out a couple different things, and I saw this really nice brown bottle sitting right there. I'm saying, Polo, what? They're doing a leather fragrance. Let's see what this is all about, right? So I tried it out and actually realized it is a pretty darn good fragrance. Now this fragrance is also in the line where I believe that they have an oud fragrance. I think it's called Supreme Oud, and also a cashmere one, I believe, as well. I'm not too sure about that, but this is, I'm thinking, Polo shot at maybe those little bit more exclusive, higher end, luxurious types of scents. All right, now what I get from Supreme Leather, man, guys, right off the top, it's a fantastic scent, especially in the opening, I think. The main accords I get from this, surprisingly, I don't get a whole lot of leather. Rather, I get a leathery feel from the notes. And the main notes I really get from this are honey, tonka, and a bunch of soft spices, including mainly saffron and nutmeg, with a little bit of cardamom mixed in there as well. Oh man, guys, it's syrupy, soft, spicy, and just amazing. So while leather is featured in here, this isn't like a super daring, challenging leather fragrance. This is a fairly neutral, very easy leather fragrance to get, and I think if you want to dive into some leather frags, this would be a great one to sort of start off with, because it's not super sour or harsh or anything like that. It really reminds me of a very nice, supple brown leather. So now I don't get a whole lot of leather, like I said, in this, but mainly what I get is definitely that honey and the tonka right away. It's got a syrupy sweetness to it, especially from the honey. It's really, really nice, but what I mainly love about this is the underpinning of the spices in here. Mainly the nutmeg is done to perfection in here, in my opinion. It just has, actually it smells like the color of the bottle, guys. If you can think about this sort of light brown juice and like the light brown color glass of this bottle, that's kind of how this fragrance smells. It has a light brown aura that is around it. Very cozy, comforting, warming. Cardamom and saffron in here as well for a little bit of a spicy kick, but it's not too much. It's blended super well, guys, and like I said, these notes are just made to go together. You know, tonka, honey, spices. I love all these notes. There's no weird like jasmine or citrus in here. There's only 6 notes, and I think that just is blended very nicely. Right, so we get all these different spices and sort of honeys and stuff like that, and it just sort of all combines to give you a leathery feel per se. Like, you know, just really reminds you of maybe a guy who's wearing a leather jacket but has like a sweet fragrance on underneath. That's sort of what that interpretation is, in my opinion. It definitely has a masculine kind of a side to it, but this smells to me really vintage. It has a slight old school feel to it without being too mature, which I think is nice, and this is just like a really cool throwback scent. If you like wearing leather jackets, you know, if you like vintage, older things, it's just, like I said, vintage is a great word to describe this one, in my opinion. Now also, this isn't super dense and super heavy. This has a certain transparency and aromatic quality to it, which I find quite interesting. Normally with those heavy honey and tonka notes, it can get kind of sickeningly sweet in most fragrances. This one actually has a slight airiness to it, which I think is really, really nice. Again, this bottle isn't completely opaque. You can actually see through it, and like I said, just imagine the color of this glass, the color of this bottle, the presentation fits the scent perfectly. And on one more note, this has kind of a nostalgic sort of a feeling to me as well. This really reminds me of around Halloween time. It has almost like a pumpkin spice vibe. It really smells like pumpkin bread, which I love eating around Halloween time. It just has that really nice nutmeggy, soft spiciness, some sweetness, the slight leathery overtone. It's just awesome, guys. Also, on a weird kind of side note, This brings me back to my childhood a little bit. We used to have this little pumpkin that we would have a bunch of vanilla candles in, and every Halloween we would put a new vanilla candle in, and on the bottom it's just all this melted wax. And I sort of get that smell of what melted vanilla candles with like a clay ceramic pumpkin type of a thing. I don't know, it's kind of crazy memory, but that's what I get from this one. Yeah guys, at the end of the day, if you like soft, spicy, somewhat smooth, sweet fragrances, go check out Supreme Leather. This one is not talked about too much on YouTube, and I think it's one of the best fragrances, if not the best, that I've tried from the house of Polo. It's a fantastic autumn scent as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. But first I want to touch on the performance a little bit. So this isn't really a beast, guys. As I said, it has somewhat of a transparent quality to it, and longevity is okay, about 7 hours maximum, which I wish it would last a little bit longer with the tonka bean note in there, but it just doesn't really hold on. And projection is pretty decent, I think. It never really pushes away from me too much, but I can definitely detect it in my scent cloud for at least an hour or two, which is, I think, adequate. And people do notice it a little bit. It doesn't, like I said, pull out and grab people's noses as much as I would maybe like. For performance, I would just say through and through is pretty average. Now for the versatility, obviously this did great on my autumn list, and I think it is a fantastic fall fragrance. Whether it's on these warmer fall days or a cooler fall day where the breeze is going like it is right now, it just works great when the autumn air kind of gets on it. And just imagine falling leaves around you. The spiciness fits into this autumnal vibe perfectly. I especially enjoy wearing this around Halloween time. In terms of occasions, guys, this is a great casual fragrance, but also I think is an amazing date fragrance as well, because man, the soft spices in here are very, very attractive, I think, and the leatheriness as well has a nice masculine touch, which is great. Also, I have worn this to work, and I think through and through it's a pretty safe fragrance. It doesn't come off as, you know, super synthetic or anything like that. It has a pretty good quality to it, which is very nice. And I think it can be worn to tons of different situations, especially in the autumn, so very good versatility factor with this one, just in terms of it being an autumn fragrance and generally for the cooler weather. And lastly, what are the compliments looking like with Supreme Leather here? This is a pretty good compliment getter, guys, especially in close situations. I've noticed that I've gotten the best feedback when I am in, you know, definitely close quarters with a lot of other people. Wearing it outdoors, you got to go a little bit heavier on the trigger, but if you know you go 1 or 2 sprays, and if you're in a pretty tight area with a lot of other people, I have gotten some good notices with this. People say I smell nice, has a nice spicy scent to it, is what most people pick up on. So guys, I got a lot of great things to say about Supreme Leather from Ralph Lauren Polo. I think it is a fantastic autumn fragrance. Not too much talked about. I don't think a whole lot of people are wearing it. And one more side note, the fragrance that this most reminds me of, if you're looking for something that is kind of similar, it is Armanico Profumo. It definitely has that sort of same vibe. If you minus the bubblegum from Profumo, that's pretty much what I get from this, and add a little bit of a leatheriness to it. So what I'm going to give Polo Supreme Leather as a final rating out of 10 points. It's going to score with me a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Like, there are times when I'm just wearing this that I just say, dang, this smells so good. You know, I catch whiffs of it throughout the day, and it's just like amazing. So I think this is a really good autumn fragrance. I'm definitely going to be wearing it a lot as we sort of progress through fall here. And if you're looking for a great, soft, spicy, leathery, sort of sweet scent, this is a really nice one to go check out, guys. So guys, I want to thank Notino for sending me this bottle for a review. Notino is a fantastic place to buy all kinds of fragrances from. They have great prices, and I'm going to leave a link down below if you're interested in checking out Polo Supreme Leather. So that's going to be it for me for this fragrance review. If you found this review entertaining or informative, you can let me know about that by dropping a comment in the comment section down below. Also liking, sharing this video, and subscribing for more fragrance content. And until I see you in the next video, have a fantastic day.